And then, after all of the time I spent hunting, I finally found it. Hey, what's up guys? J08 here, and today I have a bit of a different video. It's not a Rocket League video, which is what I'm more accustomed to making. This is about Pokemon Go, because this past weekend, I decided to play the Pokemon Go Global Tour Hoenn, or, take those words and put them in some order, and it's probably correct. For those that don't know, I mainly do Rocket League content, but I play a lot of Pokemon Go, and I've never made content about it, and so I decided that why not make this event my feeler event to see if I liked it. And, well, my goal for the weekend was, well, find something cool. So, right as I got to where my location was, I just went to my college campus. I found a Latios in the wild, which I had thought they were more rare. I knew that they were spawning, and, I didn't hit the excellent throw because wasn't used to it, needed to practice, did not get it, and, well, lo and behold, it ran. Now, if I were to go through every raid that I did and talk about all the details, well, let me say, I did a lot of raids, so it would take a while. So, we're going to find a way to speed it up a little bit. So, to start, I can say that I took down just a couple Groudons, not too many, and I didn't find anything good up to that point. And as you'd expect, while traversing between Groudon raids, I did run into a couple Latios, and, well, they're a little tricky to catch, and the one thing I can tell you is that they really like to run away. And after the Primal Surge switched from Groudon to Kyogre to increase the Kyogre spawn in raids, I was doing Kyogre raids, but again, I still wasn't getting that great of IVs, I still had yet to catch a shiny, and at that point I was just really wondering why I was spending all this time grinding. However, the doubt soon started to fade away as I was walking to a Kyogre raid and I ran into a shiny Latios, which in itself is very cool, but if you don't know, shiny legendary encounters are guaranteed catches. So that meant that Latios physically could not run away. Means I can take all the time in the world and use all the resources I have at my disposal to catch it. I believe it took about 13 Golden Raz, Ultra Balls, mostly excellent throws, but I'm not going to say I'm that good until I finally caught it. But that was my first caught Latios, was that shiny, which it was a great confidence booster to say the least. After a few more unfruitful Kyogre raids, a few more Latios running, besides my shiny Latios, I was still, despite how much I was playing, a little bit disappointed with what I was at. Granted, very grateful for the Latios, but I wanted a little bit more, and I did get my first non-legendary shiny encounter. I know the shiny odds were boosted, I don't know for what Pokemon, and I don't know how much, but the first wild shiny encounter I got was a nice little shiny Clamperl. Now, for anyone that has gone through the 1,000-year slumber research task, also known as the Jirachi research task, you know that there is one very tricky part of it, and that is evolving a feebas. The task lets you get one feebas, and it expects you to get 100 candy for it, and it's 5 kilometers to get a candy with it as your buddy. So I had had my feebas as my buddy for over a month. I was already best buddies at this point, and I was able to evolve a Feebas into a Milotic and finish the task, which I know isn't exactly related to the Halloween weekend, but it was definitely something that I was very excited about, and I just was so happy to get it out of the way. After I got Feebas taken care of, it was time to get back to the Groudon raiding, and I went through a few more Groudon raids, and I just wasn't getting anything good. Until, finally, after so many raids up to this point, I'm not even sure how many I'd done up to this point, but just too many, I finally encountered my first raid shiny. Shiny Groudon was finally entering the building, and I answered the call. And although the stats were not the best on that shiny Groudon, hey, I didn't care. You know, Shundo would be ideal, but hey, I got the shiny, and I can't really complain. So, after that, I did a few more raids, nothing crazy coming out of them, and then walking around, I did get my second non-legendary shiny encounter, a shiny Shroomish, which was actually really cool because I hadn't even evolved a Shroomish into a Breloom yet, so my first Dex entry for Breloom was it's shiny. And fortunately, on one of my last raids of the first day, that Saturday, I ended up encountering a shiny Kyogre. So on day number 1 alone, I encountered shiny Groudon, I encountered shiny Kyogre, and I also got shiny Latios, and considering I wasn't doing Deoxys raids, I had gotten every single shiny legendary in just a couple hours of playing. Because my day number 1 was so successful and my bank account was yearning for me to stop doing any additional raids, I had a pretty late start to day number 2. The idea was just to see if I could get any legendaries with good IVs. I only plan on doing a couple raids, maybe see if I can get some more wild shiny encounters, and well, I definitely did get some more wild shiny encounters. I got a shiny Feebas, which if you remember from earlier how I was so happy to evolve my first one, I had about an hour and a half to get all of the candy for that Feebas. Lo and behold, I did it, so we didn't have to stress, but I think my first Feebas got a little bit of revenge. I also got a shiny Volbeat, which unfortunately I already had one, but oh well, I guess now I have 2. And so now we flash forward to about 4:57 p.m. And the reason that's important, the event ends at 6 p.m. So we're entering the last hour, and I see a Kyogre raid, and I decided, hey, I'm gonna do a Kyogre raid. One last Kyogre raid, why not? So, you know, I do the raid as normal. I'd done so many up to this point. This Kyogre seemed especially strong, and I didn't really understand what was happening. I don't know if I was just going delusional from walking around for so many kilometers, but once I got to that battle screen, if you guys did this event, you'll know that normal Kyogre CP is high 2200, low 2300. This one was much higher, and it's had the weather boosted icon, and I thought it was a bug. I thought it was crazy because I look around and it's clear as day out. I finished the raid. I took a video so you guys can understand why I was confused. The weather boost for Kyogre has to be rainy, and there were just a few clouds in the sky. It wasn't very rainy. I'm not sure if that was intentional from Pokemon, from Niantic. I don't really know, but what I can tell you is that it wasn't rainy. And at that point, that was the first time that we had a weather boost for either Groudon or Kyogre all weekend, because it had been cloudy all the time. So we didn't get any weather boost. So I decided, I don't have any weather boosted Kyogre. Let's do a little bit of grinding, see if I can get a shiny weather boosted. Wouldn't that be nice? So I was storming around my campus, running back and forth between hatching primal reversion mega eggs, whatever they're called. And I walk about a half mile to the first one, and it hatched Kyogre, and I was like, oh, that's just bad luck. But then I walked outside and I saw a sunny Castform, which, if you guys don't know what that entails, that means the primal surge of that hour is Groudon. So the 1 hour that we were able to get a weather boost in my area, the wrong Pokemon was in Surge. So I'm panicking. I see 3 primal reversion mega eggs right where I had just left, actually. So I walked at like a half mile, probably like a quarter mile, and I'm just over exaggerating. Quarter mile away, quarter mile back, and there were 3 eggs popping. So I'm sitting, I'm just laying on the grass, honestly. It's right by the library. And the first one hatches, and it's a Groudon. 2 minutes later, the second one hatches, and it's a Groudon. There are about 2.5 minutes left on the third one. And I look about a half mile away, just spinning my little map, and I see a Kyogre raid in the distance. And so I was thinking to myself, I have enough coins, I can buy a remote raid pass and do it from here, because it had just popped, there were already 10 people in it. Or I can bank on this one that I'm at turning into Kyogre. I panicked, and I bought the remote raid pass. So I am locked into this Kyogre. I'm going to see if I can get through it as fast as possible. That way, if this one's a Kyogre that's in about 2.5 minutes, I can do both of them and have the highest chance to catch a weather boosted shiny. So I finished the battle on that one. And there's a lot of people on campus playing Pokemon Go. Let me mention that. I'm not the only one there, obviously. And I heard someone say, and I quote, and I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see the two gyms that I was talking about, the one that was a Groudon and the one that had yet to hatch, right next to each other, and I'm sitting right there by it just in case. I hear someone say, and I quote, "Hey, are you guys doing the Groudon or the Kyogre?" So the egg was a Kyogre. So I'm hurrying. I make it to the catch screen. I'm panicking. I'm throwing all of the balls. I had 100% catch rate at this point. I'm just trying to make it happen as fast as possible. I should have calmed down because my throws weren't good enough and the weather boosted Kyogre ran. And I was like, okay, whatever. It wasn't a shiny. I'll see if I can get this one. I don't know what happened, where the lack of communication was, but it turned out to be a Groudon. So I rushed through my remote raid weather boosted Kyogre because I heard, are you guys doing the Kyogre or the Groudon? There weren't any Kyogres within a quarter-mile radius. I don't know what they were talking about. And it was a Groudon, and I rushed through it for no reason. And so, at this point, there's like 20 minutes left. I see a couple eggs pretty far away. I walk all the way to them. They all spawn Groudon. And, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the weather-boosted shiny. But, I say all that to say that, overall, I had a fun time. I thought it was a very fun event, and I hope this little narrative style of video was enjoyable. I know a lot of the big Pokemon Go creators do like the live stuff, but I just kind of want to see how I feel about making Pokemon content before I fully commit to doing anything like that, so I know the ending here was a little bit long, but this was probably the best part of the story, so I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. If you have any, suggestions, any comments on it, if you liked it, you hated it, please let me know in the comments because I'm always trying to figure out what to do with my content. Feedback is always appreciated, so that's going to be it for this one, though. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day is wherever you are, and, well, hope the rest of the day goes well. Hope everything in the future goes well, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.